Disclaimer. Pretty much everything I'm going to say in this video is my opinion. If you don't like it, then why the fuck are you watching this video? Also, I'm trying to stay quiet because it's pretty early in the morning. So, I'm going to talk to you about everything wrong with World of Tanks. Everything I find wrong with it. And I'm going to start off with the UI. What Wargaming has done with the user interface is fucking atrocious. Over here, you used to get everything you needed to know. You had the hit points, the view range, the average, well, not the average damage, but the damage and penetration ranges of your gun. You still do, but now you have to click on something in order to see it. You didn't have to before. Now you do. It's stupid. Facebook has recently gone in this direction on the trending tags on the right hand side of the screen. Used to get a little description. Now you have to hover over each tag in order to see what they're talking about. Fuck that. People underestimate how lazy people can be. And also, these firepower ratings, they mean absolutely nothing. 342, 288, that's nothing. They mean diddly squat. Not so much in World of Warships, which this is obviously copying, because in World of Warships, there's a noticeable difference. If you have a concealment rating of 42 compared to a concealment rating of 86. Same thing with maneuverability, artillery, AA defense, torpedoes. If you've got a torpedo rating of 16 compared to 50, you know that you've got worse torpedoes. Here, it means absolutely nothing, because as far as I'm aware, you click on the battle button, you highlight another vehicle, and you don't get this comparison. You don't see your firepower compared to their firepower, so just completely useless feature. The next thing is the carousel. You used to get a nice drop-down menu where you could choose the nations of the vehicles you wanted to look at. So here we've got the American tanks. Okay, I used to be able to click on a drop-down menu and choose the Chinese tanks. Not anymore, you've got to do something bloody complicated. You have to select the nation you want to look at next, and then deselect the one you don't want to look at. It's fucking stupid. Went from ergonomic to you need a master's degree. Like, whoever uses this shit? I mean, I've never known anyone to use the primary vehicles filter, or to use some sort of bonus experience filter. No one ever uses those. Moving on. I don't like the garage. I liked how the garage was back in patch 8.11. The good old garage. The one they introduced in whatever fucking patch it was. Oh sure, it's pretty, but it doesn't have the charisma of the old one. I preferred the old one. I got used to it, and this one is just garish. And briefly going back to the UI, I preferred the old UI up here. We had the purchase gold up here, get gold, exchange your credits and your free XP. Armory used to be depot, but now it's also doubling as your store to buy tanks, which I used to use. You don't use it anymore. You'd be stupid to use it now. Where was I? Armory, the depot and shit. Oh yes. Yes. Do you remember when Wargaming was talking about having a unified account throughout all of your games? Do you know that they were lying to you? 100% lying through their teeth. Can't remember what the term is, but yeah, they were lying. They've only implemented 1.5 unified account features. Only thing that's truly unified? Premium time. 168 days. That won't change in World of Warplanes, if I ever played World of Warplanes, which I never have. Or World of Warships. It's 100% the same on all 3 World of games. Gold, not so much. On World of Tanks and World of Warplanes, it will be exactly the same as you see here, 47,629. But in World of Warships, you have to buy a completely separate type of gold. Doubloons. I have to continually buy doubloons because I play World of Warships more than I play World of Tanks these days. I wouldn't have to buy doubloons if they could just make the account truly unified and give me my bloody gold. It's just sitting around doing nothing. Unified account, Wargaming. You told us we were going to get it. Why haven't you given it to us? Come on, I've got 47,000 gold sitting unused on my World of Tanks. I'd like to use it, please. On my World of Warships. Now, another thing that was somewhat recent. You know how how Wargaming told us they weren't going to introduce any more fake tanks? They lied with that as well. Because, yeah, sure, they got rid of the Waffenträger E100, a completely OP tank, by the way, and replaced it with the Grill 15, a completely OP tank, by the way. And, well, funny thing is, I've never heard of the Grill 15. It's just like the GW100, that never existed. This thing, show me a document of that existing. Come on, I mean, yeah, this didn't exist in anything. It was complete fake, made up. Apparently, this wasn't. Show me evidence of that thing in some German documents, and I'll reconsider my standing. Because at the moment, I'm not convinced the Grill 15 is a real vehicle. Was ever even considered. Same thing goes here. You know, the Lorraine 40-ton, completely historical tank that actually actually existed and was actually tested. No, now you get some fake AMX 90 Mark II. AMX 1390, so Backchat 25T. Never heard of this. Show me existence of this, please. Because I'm not convinced this was even considered or thought of either before Wargaming decided, we need to replace the Lorraine 40T. Let's make up another tank. And then we go on to something that's more of a pet peeve. Personal reserves. Useless feature because you never remember them. I think the only reason they introduced this bright blue plus thing was to remind people, hey, remember that personal reserve feature we put in months and months ago? Yeah, we kind of forgot that you might not remember it. Yeah, so here it is. Pointless. I never remember to activate it. I'm not on long enough anyway, so just pointless. Other pet peeves. KV220. KV220-2 now. Because, because we can. KV3. Back when this was a standard definition model, turret was nicely proportioned. It fit on the body. Now it's like the turret is the wrong size. It was put on the wrong tank. It looks absolutely fucking stupid. Like a neckbeard. I can't quite describe it. Like something it's too big. Just too big for the body. Oh, yes. And need I remind you about artillery, which is still fucking broken. Because artillery was never... Oh, great, the game's broken. What the fuck happened there? Oh, you can add that to the list of things wrong with World of Tanks. But yeah, artillery was never, ever used against tanks. It was designed for use against infantry. That's what high explosive shells do. They hit the ground, they explode, and they cause splash damage and kill infantry in the vicinity. Absolutely useless against armor. That's why tanks have it. A shell hits 100mm of armor, high explosive, just explodes on the outside. Might cause spalling, but spalling won't cause massive damage to the vehicle. True, yes. The vehicle itself, it's not going to blow up the ammo rack anytime soon, so... Absolutely stupid mechanic. Sure, RT used to be more broken, but... Getting one-shot by these things is just the worst. Oh, it's a great if you're the one doing the one-shotting, but it's the worst fucking feeling to be one-shot. Like this thing, it's got basically a light cruiser gun on it. How the fuck is a tank supposed to stand up to this thing, especially if it's using heat. Especially if the armor isn't working the way it's supposed to be. Oh yes. Yes. I talked about this before. Tier 1 on both World of Warships and World of Tanks has been babified. It's been made so fucking easy. It's insulting. You've been treated like children. I'll show you what I mean. That's the barracks. You see, tech tree used to be there. Muscle memory took me there. Now it's there. Because they decided to get rid of depot. Made it thinner. Like cunts. Anyway. Oh look. It's now really fucking stupid. You're given the choice of 2 guns. Not the choice you used to have. 2. Tier 1 tanks. I used to like some of the Tier 1 tanks. I kept a few of them. What point is there now? There isn't any. FT used to get the 25mm, if I remember. Now you've only got the choice of the stupid SA-18 and a machine gun. Just why? The medium. Okay, you've got the choice of a 3-pounder or the 6-pounder. The machine gun's gone. The LOL tractor. That's also something I hate, by the way. It used to be L tractor in game. Now it's just LTR because Wargaming doesn't like the LOL tractor name, so they're trying to just make you call it the LTR. Never really had much of a choice, to be honest. So really, not much of a loss, but you've lost the turret. Used to have a nice looking turret. Now it's got the fucking stupid turret that looks like it's gay. T1 Cunningham. Everyone used to run with this thing with the 20mm autocannon. So obviously that's the gun they chose as the upgrade, right? Nope, you get the 37mm autoloader. So the T1 Cunningham just became irrelevant. At least it gets the upgraded turret. How about the Japanese tank I own? The Renault Otsu. Doesn't even get its historical gun anymore. Choice over the 13mm or a 37mm Sogekiko or something like that. Didn't really lose too much, but I feel like I wasted some experience buying all the upgrades when they've just been thrown away. Oh, come on. MS1 used to get a 23mm autocannon, a 20mm autocannon, a 37mm upgrade gun, the 45mm. Now you just got the 45. Doesn't even get its historical turret. It just gets this thing. Gets a shitty gun and a better gun. That's it. It's not even the same gun that you get on the BT2. It's the Mod 1932 and not the 20K, which means you have to research the same gun again, which has always been just a total waste of time. And then Here's the thing I hate the most about World of Tanks. This has never changed. Ever. I hate this with a fucking passion. It is the worst feature in World of Tanks, and Wargaming is just completely ignoring it, finding it completely fine. It's taking vehicles, perfectly historical vehicles like the Howitzer and the Panzer IV-H, and giving them fucking howitzers that they never had. The Howitzer was designed around the Pak-39. Never did the Howitzer ever have this Sturmhowitzer 42. There were designs based on the Panzer IV, that had the 105mm howitzer, but the Panzer IV-H never had the 105mm howitzer. The closest thing to a Panzer IV carrying a 105mm howitzer is this thing, which is based off a Panzer IV. Yes, it looks like a Panzer III, but it's actually based off a Panzer IV. It's just been shortened. And there was also some funny thing called a grasshopper, or something like that. The tanks that never had howitzers, and the fucking spam of howitzers. You're encouraged in this game not to go around with the guns the tanks actually had. No, you're encouraged to go and drive the tank with something that was never even considered to be put on the tank. KV-1, 122mm. Closest thing was the KV-9, which, if I've heard correctly, was basically just a KV-1 with a 122mm howitzer. But even so, you've got the KV-1, not the KV-9. So it's supposed to have, like, these guns. The anti-tank guns, not the anti-infantry gun. An anti-infantry gun should not be doing anything to a tank, unless it's of course got really thin armor, which at this tier, most of the tanks actually have armor. What about the KV-1S? You get the choice of a 122mm on this as well, even though there was never a KV-1S designed with a Howitzer S41. I feel like that Wargaming is taking the piss, knowing full well that plenty of these tanks have no business having these howitzers, even when those howitzers are just a completely stupid addition. The M46 Patton, for example. You can choose the 105mm howitzer on a tier 9 medium. You can even get it on the Pershing and the T20 and the EZ8. You are given the choice of using a stupid howitzer that only a few versions of the Sherman ever used on a tier 9 medium tank where that thing was never even considered to be used. I just cannot believe the total stupidity and cheek of the wargaming devs. They are just taking the piss. And I'm not talking about all the howitzers. Like, I know the Su-152 was designed around this. I'm not complaining about that. I'm complaining about the Panzer IV-H and the Howitzer using a 105mm that they never used. And although I know that some versions of the M4 Sherman did use the 105 M4, I'd prefer if it didn't. I'd have rather prefer people who actually use anti-tank guns rather than some howitzer that was designed to take out infantry. It has no business being in a tank game, including artillery. These aren't tanks, they're self-propelled guns. Massive fucking difference between a tank and this. Of course, you could make the same argument about a tank destroyer, but tank destroyers are armed with anti-tank guns. Artillery pieces are not. Now, I've digressed far enough. There was another thing. Remember how the maps were back in 2011? They weren't really that well detailed, were they? Well, in 2012, 2013, the maps became a lot more detailed. They became better. But now they've gone back to 2011 standards. That is pretty much how the cliff map looked back in 2011. Now, I understand that not all the maps have been changed. I understand it's just a prototype. They're not going to do it with all of them. If they receive negative enough feedback, and I implore you, negative feedback, because they look like they were made in 2011. Look at that. That is 2013. That's 2016. Do you think that's a better map than that? What is this? That is the 2011 map. I shit you not. That is how the Ensk map looked in 2011. That isn't an upgrade, that's a downgrade. I thought you were trying to make the game better, but no, Wargaming's just making the game worse. It looks fucking awful. Seriously, do you prefer that? Or that? 2011 map compared to the 2013 map. I don't know about you, but I prefer the 2013 map, the one that looks better. And while I'm at it, I want the port map back. Got removed ages ago for some stupid reason that it wasn't balanced, even though it had been in the game for months at that time. It was balanced then. How did it suddenly become unbalanced, Fucking idiots. Seriously, they've put in a bunch of maps and they've removed them. Pearl River. That one was decent. Removed. Dragon Ridge. Never played that one, except in training rooms. Removed that. Sivrogorsk made a big song and dance about that one. Got removed. I don't know, it feels like that Wargaming's removing more maps than they're adding. Pretty soon enough, all we'll have is El Haloof Encounter. Who'll play the game then? And so, Wargaming is introducing the Swedish tanks in the next patch. And I can't help but feel they should have introduced the Swedish tanks and the Czech tanks and every other tank years ago. Like they were on an updating roll in 2013. And then they just stopped. And they've been introducing patches that improve the quality of life. You call this an improvement of the quality of life. I call it an annoyance. I had information readily available that is now a click away. I didn't have to make that click before. Now you do. So, I think it's 100% proof that Wargaming knows nothing about their player base, and they're just making these stupid, fucking stupid decisions and additions because they fucking feel like it. It's their game, they're going to do what they want with it. Who cares if they ruin it? Well, you're ruining it, alright. I haven't played in months. Actually, that's not true. I went and played for the T-45 because I wanted another tank. And you know how long it took me? You're only supposed to win one battle. It took me something like 3 or 4 in the Tiger 2 and the T-29 because I kept losing. I don't know. Skill-based matchmaker, anyone? I thought you were like. It's been so long. People have been demanding a skill-based matchmaker since practically the beginning of the game. Are they anywhere closer to implementing it? Nope. You'll often still be matched against people who haven't got a single clue what they're doing. All those tier 8 wallet warriors who've just just downloaded the game, and they've bought themselves a lurver because they don't want to grind to tier 8. No, they just want it immediately. So they know absolutely fucking nothing, firing high explosive because it does the most damage. And you know, back when the LTP was new in 2013, you know what I had to do to get that? Log in. I didn't even have to play for it. I just had to log in. I just had to log in. I didn't have to work for it. Now you have to work for it. Even if it's just one battle. But sometimes even that's too hard. Because I lost like 5 or 6 different battles before I finally won one. I'm wasting my time in World of Tanks. I don't think I'm going to play it for a while. It's more, maybe ever, because Wargaming obviously doesn't care about their player base. They are making stupid decisions willy-nilly. let's introduce this thing in World of Warships. That works fine in World of Warships. Doesn't work here, mates. I could go on. I had other things I wanted to mention, like the lack of a test drive, lack of a PvE content, the fact that in World of Warships, in the training mode, you can fight against the bots if you want to, but in here, in the team training, you still have to wait for someone to enter the room in order to play. You can't put in a bot. You have to literally play against other people. So, World of Tanks is a fucking piece of shit at the moment. And there's still more I could say, but I'm gonna run out of hard drive space if I keep going, so... yeah. I'm just gonna stop right here. Choose the T10, so I have a nice tank to look at when I get back. Whenever that is. Until then, World of Warships video coming this week, with any luck. See you then, bye!